I once made friends with a tortoise. I was on the way back home from school, walking as I usually did. I've grown rather famous for how much I walk, miles and miles and miles. Normally, I would be listening to music with my rather large headphones and contemplate fighting scenes or other cool imagery. Perhaps some stories would come to mind, but no, that was not the concern, not this time. Now the only concern I had was a strange figure in the distance. It looked like a rock. I couldn't tell if I was hallucinating or not, due to the perplexing characteristics of this rock. Its supposed movement. This rock, with no explanation, was slowly changing its position. Curious, I approached the strange rock and it appeared to be covered in moss. The closer I got to it, the more it seemed apparent to me that this wasn't a rock. It was a tortoise that had come from elsewhere. I noticed that a droplet fell on my nose and looked up at the skies. They greeted me with their gray colors, foreshadowing gloomy weather. I figured that I would do my best to greet the tortoise and then leave as quickly as I could to escape the rain before it caught me. "Hello, Gerald!" I enthused. "I hope you have a lovely day." But as I walked away from Gerald, who I named spontaneously, I came to the realization that I would never remember him. If I walked away, leaving him in the park in the rain alone, I would never remember him afterwards. This was unacceptable to me. I would never forget Gerald. So in the rain, I sat on the gravel pathway next to Gerald. "Hey Gerald, can I talk to you about the universe?" He responded quickly by retreating into his shell. The poor thing must have been shy, uncertain as to how he could react to such a strange person. People don't usually walk over to tortoises in the middle of the rain to discuss the philosophy of the world, but I did. And so, for at least half an hour, I sat there philosophizing with Gerald in the bitter rain. I remember I explained my age-old theory as to the purpose of life, which was suffering, and using unpleasant experiences to adapt and change our ways into becoming better people. I may have also explained to him that the creation of the universe was potentially a black hole, infinitely imploding into another point, where all of its contents transport themselves into another plane of existence. From there, the particles would infinitely explode. What goes up must come down, after all. So what infinitely implodes must at some point infinitely explode into an empty space. I imagine that the transportation is due to some type of wormhole effect, but this is all merely speculation and theory. It was only a brainstorming burst at the moment, and I can only guess how accurate all of that was. Once I had gotten all my elaborate plans out of my head, I bid Gerald farewell. He was such a polite little tortoise, sitting there, slowly coming out of his shell to actively listen to what I had to say. What a kind and compassionate soul he was. To this day, I honor the memory of Gerald with the necklace that I wear. It's a green, sparkly necklace of a turtle. Not quite a tortoise, but I suppose it'll do. The point still stands that I honor Gerald's memory in some way, and will love him eternally. And for every heartbreaking scene I see about aquatic life, I have the comfort of knowing that Gerald is somewhere out there happily strolling along the park. I love you, Gerald!